Dawn tears open the savanna with claw and light. A shadow moves first striped low and hungry, matriarch, in a silent sprint. Ahead, a small band of early hominins runs not only on feet, but through air forelimbs, fling wide membranes bloom from flank to wrist, and bodies become gliders. The matriarch vaults from a termite mound and rides the ground-heated air, a baby bound to her chest with braided fiber. Below, claws skid through dust where she was a heartbeat ago, in a world where the horizon is a trap. Survival is measured in the clean geometry of a leap, the angle of a glide, the will to rise. What if we were born with wings, not to conquer the sky, but to escape teeth? They are Sahelanthropus, small barrel-chested brow, heavy-shaped by late Miocene grasslands and gallery forests, and in this imagining shaped also by patagial skin that turns panic into altitude. Their day begins in motion because motion is food. The scouts drop from an acacia catch, a gentle thermal, and skim toward a river ribboning through tawny grass. The band flows behind them, mothers with infants cocooned against sternums, juveniles who practice short hops between boulders, two elders whose wide, steady wings trade speed for duration. They do not speak, but meaning surges in gestures and arm flick to warn of vultures circling low, a raised chin toward distant zebra, an open palm cupping a leaf to drink soon. At the riverbank, they fold wings and work. One cracks mongongo nuts with a rounded hammerstone scavenged from a dry creek, turning protein into powder with patient rhythmic strikes. Another finds a shard of volcanic glass in the gravel, tests its edge with a thumb, and slices tuber skins in clean ribbons. Leaves become canteens, broad, waxy blades folded into cones, raw water carried from shade to shade. Bitter stems are chewed for pain, a green pharmacy learned by watching sick antelope seek specific shrubs. A scrape gets smeared with cool clay that dries into a protective shell. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is loud. The first problem arrives on the wind. A crosshatch of odor, cat, and rot drifts from the leeward thicket. Bodies freeze, heads lift, shoulders tighten, wings half open as if thought itself must balance. The hunters, 3 adults and a bold juvenile fan, out uphill to thin air and sight line. They climb a granite copia toes and fingers gripping warm rock, and launch in staggered sequence to scout. From above, the grass reveals its secrets, a hyena pair nosing the edges, a warthog crashing through speargrass, and there, ghosted between thorn shadows, the sabertooth patient as stone. The band pivots its plan. Distance becomes a tool, altitude a shield. The elders shepherd juveniles to a fig tree whose lower limbs offer short, safe hops. The matriarch signals the flanking maneuver. 2 adults drop low behind the cat, taunting with shadow. One glides across its vision, bright and bold, to pull the gaze. When the cat breaks into a sprint, the decoys spring skyward, claws swiping through empty heat. In the chaos, the juvenile slips wing, catches a rogue gust, body rolls ankle twists on landing. A hiss of pain that is not a word ripples through the group. The matriarch is there in 4 heartbeats, kneeling, inspecting no fracture, but swelling will come. She tears a strip of bark, wraps the joint, tucks a bitter leaf against the skin, and presses a palm to the young chest, until breath finds rhythm again. Above them, vultures tilt. Below, the river glints like a blade. The cat melts back into grass. The day is only beginning. As the sun arches higher, the heat thickens. Mirages dance on the horizon, and cicadas rise in volume, forming a soundscape of tension. The tribe regathers, circling the injured juvenile beneath a canopy of thorn branches. A decision forms without speech. They cannot linger. Scavengers follow wounded prey, and shade offers only brief sanctuary. The matriarch signals the elders who fashion a cradle from woven reeds and twisted sinew. Wings become tools of burden, now not escape. One carries the leaf-wrapped leg. Another shades the eyes of the injured with their spread limbs. The juvenile still watches the sky instead of the pain. Movement resumes. They trace the edge of the dry riverbed feet, whispering through dust. Above them, scouts ride the updrafts, their dark shapes drifting over termite mounds and boulder spines. Insects scatter in waves. Their journey shifts toward a cluster of basalt caves known from long memory places of safety, where wind can be blocked and fire can be cradled. But the second crisis waits before they arrive. A rival band. Perched like vultures along the ridgeline, they reveal themselves not with noise, but posture, arms wide, wings taut, a silent warning painted in flesh. These are not allies. Their leader stands broad and high, bones adorned with beads of shell and feathered jaw set like granite. The two bands had clashed moons ago over a salt deposit, and though no blood was spilled, then memory here is long. The matriarch does not falter. She rises slowly, wings unfolded with ceremonial grace, then kneels. Her offering is not surrender, but negotiation, a dried fish from the last river crossing wrapped in leaves and ash to preserve it. She places it on a flat stone and steps back. For a moment, the world hangs. A gust lifts dust between them. Then the rival leader steps forward and takes the fish expression unreadable. He tears it in half, offering one piece back. Tension softens into breath. For now, there is peace. Both groups descend into the basalt shelters, each claiming a cave apart, but within mutual sight. There is no trust, only truce. The night will test it. As dusk bruises the sky, the tribe begins preparation. One adult starts the fire, spinning dry bark with a spindle of bone until smoke spirals up and embers catch. Another arranges stones to direct the heat. In the deepest part of the cave, herbs are ground into pulp painkillers, fever breakers, sleep givers stored in carved bone tubes. The wounded juvenile is fed roasted tuber mash limbs elevated on moss. The matriarch remains near, brushing ash over their skin to cool it. Outside, the rival band does the same, mirroring survival. Then thunder cracks the silence. A storm approaches. Thick clouds gallop across the plains. Lightning veins the horizon in crooked gold. The scouts descend in sharp arcs, wings braced against crosswinds. A squall like a wall rises from the west, dragging with it not just rain, but flood. The matriarch looks to the others and they move. Children are strapped tightly. Tools are bundled in leather. Fires are shielded under stone domes. The riverbed, once dry, now groans in anticipation. And as the first sheets of rain fall, the matriarch leads the ascent up the cave wall to higher ground, wings splayed not for flight, but for balance. Water comes like fury. The lower shelters vanish beneath a torrent. Screams echo from the rival band, some too slow to climb. The tribe reaches the cliffside ledge and watches as the world below drowns in black. The storm devours the night. Winds howl like beasts denied meat. Trees bend to breaking roots, exposed like bones. The rain scours the skin, cold and relentless, but the ledge holds. Huddled beneath an overhang, the tribe presses together, wings wrapped around children, hands clasped on shoulders, eyes hidden unblinking. Lightning splits the sky again, illuminating the wreckage below. Shattered branches, swirling debris, and the distant cries of the rival band, now only a flicker of movement clinging to the edge of survival. There is no victory here, only endurance. Hours pass in wet silence. At dawn, the storm retreats like a predator sated. The plains are reborn, carved and glistening. Pools replace pathways. The dry river is now a churning snake of mud and driftwood. Smoke curls from buried fires. Silence reigns. Then a cough. A spark. A new fire begins. Fingers strike flint against bone. Dry moss ignites, warmth returns. The wounded juvenile stirs, eyes fluttering open, and manages a smile. The matriarch answers not with sound, but a slight nod, and the press of her forehead against the child's. Around them, wings open to dry, catching the sun in their thin membranes like stained glass. One of the scouts returns from the ridge mud-caked and trembling, but alive. In his hand, a honeycomb ripped from a fallen tree. He holds it up, and a soft exhalation passes through the group. Not a laugh, not yet, but hope. They share the honey in silence, sticky fingers and soot-smudged faces. Bees circle lazily. The world is wet, dangerous, raw, but the tribe endures. The caves will dry. The water will recede. The tools were saved. The child will heal. And above all, they still have their wings. Not to dominate, not to rule, but to escape when earth turns violent, when tooth and claw come hungry, when storms chase the horizon. Their wings are not triumph, they are mercy. A second chance. A way to rise when the ground betrays. As the sun climbs, the tribe prepares to move again. South toward the greener valleys, where berries ripen and herds gather. A new beginning. Together they launch first the matriarch, then the elders, then the children. And in the sky where silence meets the wind, their shadows stretch across the land like legends written in flight.